All right. It is a very sad day in the manosphere. Wheat Waffles, the god of scientifically valid and impressively accurate advice about why, unless you're really good looking, it's hopeless. He is quitting. Let's see what he has to say.
Down, and there's a very serious reason for why that's happened. I'm going to be explaining all of this in this video, but first, let's just rewind a little bit because you might have seen about this time last year, I thought about quitting, and I said that I'm going to quit, and I made that video saying that this is the end, only for me to come back 5 months later. But this time around, it is not a joke. This is genuinely the last video that you will see on this channel, and there won't be any coming back. Now, the reason
No.
that I quit initially and came back after 5 months, well, there was a few reasons. I had a lot of new experiences, which I thought that I could share. And also, my older videos I felt were a bit more on the spicier side. I didn't think there was anything controversial about them, but
You didn't think there's anything controversial about them. That is crazy. Okay.
seemed to be a lot of people found them a little bit controversial. And I wanted to upload
What a shock.
these new videos because I thought that they were tamer.
When you're saying things like your looks are your personality and nothing else is relevant, I mean, yeah, people are going to react to that.
I thought that they were safer. I thought that people would watch them and think this guy knows what he's talking about.
If you're a sub 6, if you're not a 6 out of 10, which means to him like probably the top 10% of men, if you're not in the top 10%, cold approach will never work. Online dating will never work, and you might as well go to Thailand because that's your only hope.
This guy is talking a lot of sense and he's smart, and this is accurate. However, in truth, after several months of uploading this new style of content, things have actually gotten worse, and these new videos I've uploaded have only made my life worse in several ways. I've been judged, it's affected girls that I've dated, and in fact, one has been harassed 4 times. And I'm not using that term lightly either. I'll get more into that later to explain it. But in other words, these new videos, it's causing all sorts of problems for my life, and this can't go on. And the main reason is because now I'm uploading this new style with my face, the channel has become plastered with my face on it, and anybody is able to make a quick association with me, my face, and my channel. Before it wasn't like that, and I never had to deal with these issues, not just to me, but in relation to girls that I'm dating, people that I know. I've never had to deal with these issues.
This all started because there was a guy who doxed him, who showed his face. He found out who he was to show his face, which is kind of messed up, to like try to find the guy, and so you can show who he is, so people can go harass him or whatever. Pretty crazy. But since that happened, he decided, oh, I'll just lean into it and start showing my face.
Before until I started showing my face significantly. And the reason is because nowadays anyone can search and find my face. If they search the channel name, then they just see 20 pictures of me and they immediately make those judgments. And it's very quick to make. And the main problem is, even though the new videos are a lot tamer, and I think that there's nothing controversial whatsoever about them, the problem is that the people who make these judgments, they don't even watch the videos. They just click on the channel, they see my face, they look at the thumbnails, they look at the titles, and then they make
Oh, I've watched some of the videos and I have judgments. So I'm sure that's true some of the time, but a lot of people who watch the videos still think the things you're saying are not entirely accurate.
all sorts of big jumps and extrapolations to paint me in a bad light. And in fact, here's the perfect example. So one time, I had met this girl.
I want to be clear about one thing. I don't think Wheat Waffles has bad intentions. I think his intentions would be my guess, at least. I think his intentions are good and he thinks he's helping people. The problem is that he has a very strong confirmation bias, and all the evidence he shows, he's proven before in one video. He said, like, if you're not good looking, online dating is never going to work, right? And he called himself a 5. So he's like, if you're not a 7, or I don't know what he said, but if you're not much better looking than him, it's not going to work. He didn't think it could work for him because he's average. Then he made a video where he got a really good professional photo shoot, used the dating apps. He had tons of matches. He got plenty of dates. He got really good results. That should be enough. Like, I think it's cool he did that, but that should be enough for you to start questioning, maybe my whole belief system is a little off. Maybe I'm seeing things in too much of a black and white kind of way. He had another video where he talked about cold approach, and he did 500 cold approaches, and he considered himself, again, not good looking enough to do well with cold approach. He said that. And yet, during that experiment, he ended up meeting a girl that he thought might be the one that he'd, date long term. So clearly that disproves his own theory. So he'll disprove his theory, but still have the exact same beliefs and still tell people that it's hopeless unless you're a 6 out of 10. There's no chance. And look, I'm not saying, is it an advantage to be a 6 out of 10 over a 5 out of 10? Of course it is. But it's just there are other factors, like the quality of your pictures in dating apps makes a 10, 20x difference in the amount of matches you'll get. Really bad pictures will make you feel like you're much uglier than you are. Really good pictures will make you feel like you're much better looking than you are and get you much better results. Just the same thing with approaching women. On a night, if I go out and I'm like in a really awkward mood and I'm, feeling negative and I approach girls, rejection, 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 bad reaction. It doesn't happen much anymore, but that's what would happen. And if I'm in an amazing mood, feeling very outgoing, very charismatic, etc., the success rate is completely different. So clearly your game or personality is a factor. And I've seen the same thing with countless other guys, with my clients, where an average guy, a 5 out of 10, will do amazingly well when his game or whatever you want to call it is on point, even though he was getting constantly rejected before. So unfortunately, Wheat Waffles just doesn't seem to be very good at critical thinking.
And we were chatting a little bit over text, and I really liked her. But then all of a sudden, one day, she unadded me. And I found that a little bit strange, so I sent her a message saying, "Did you unadd me? Guessing you don't want to talk to each other anymore." And you can see the screenshot on your screen now. She then says, "Do you have a YouTube account? My friend recognized it, and that kind of creeped me out." I said, "Yes, I do. I keep my personal life separate from it." She says, "I mean, if that's what you actually believe, though, that's crazy." Then I say, "Have you watched any of the videos?" And she
Funny enough, I've had the same thing happen to me a few times. And I've had it where, a girl I hooked up with found my channel, didn't like it, and thought that, like, I filmed us having sex or something, which never done, never would do. But it caused a negative reaction. However, there was one girl who ended up deciding to read my book. And then after she read it, she was like, actually, you make a lot of good points and what you're doing makes a lot of sense. And yeah, modern men, they really are too shy and they don't know how to go for it, et cetera, et cetera. And she's like, I take it back. Like, she actually ended up agreeing with it. So I do see the point that he's making here.
she says no. She says no. But the premise of them are so misogynistic, which I find a little bit hard to believe for that last statement, because if you look at the titles of my recent videos, I don't think there's anything that constitutes that whatsoever. And for the most part, in
I mean, the titles do say, how much does personality really matter? And then he says it doesn't, right?
my videos, I'm talking about men. I barely even talk about women in my videos. And for those that watch them, you know that this is true for the most part. And
Well, what he's saying is inherently painting women as extremely shallow, as only caring about looks above everything else imaginable, and just deciding based on that and not being capable of anything beyond that. Now, do women care about looks? Of course they do. Is that the only thing they ever care about? It's just such a weird, I don't know how you get to that conclusion. Now, if you're a Nostradamus, like if you are hideous, then is it going to be hard to compensate for your looks with other things? Yes. But that's a small percentage of men. And the vast majority, even if you are a so-called sub 5, if you worked out, you got into good shape, and you improved your appearance, you would be at least average, if not slightly below average, because most people in the US are massively overweight. I think the same is true in the UK where he's from. So the idea that it's hopeless and it's over is true for, a very small percentage. If you're like 4'11 and a burn victim and things like that, okay. But in that case, I would probably focus on getting rich and use that. But he paints it like you have to be a 6 out of 10, which, by the way, his scale only goes up to 8. So there's no 9 or 10. So 6 out of 10 is like the top 10% or so of men that he thinks have a chance. And everyone else, it's screwed, which is ridiculous. All you have to do is go to a bar, look at the couples, and you'll see guys who are 5s with 8s all the time.
I'm talking about men's attractiveness, men's chances, men's struggles. I'm barely talking about women in my videos, but as I say, that people don't ever watch the content who have these negative judgments. They just look at the titles, they look at my face, they look at the thumbnails, and then they make all sorts of big jumps. And this also happened one other time. I arranged a date with this girl. As you can see from the text, we literally just arranged a date. Then 7 minutes later, she sends me this text. I've just seen your YouTube account. I'm definitely not meeting you. And given the fact that she sent it 7 minutes later, she definitely didn't watch the videos again. Now, what it comes down to is I'm not making these videos so I can have a crap life and you can have a good one. And I know that a lot of people have had a big benefit to their life, as I'll show later in this video with some screenshots and messages that
I'm interested in seeing that.
got sent from guys. But what's less relevant than the content and the material is the perception. And the perception of these videos, even though I don't think there's anything controversial with them whatsoever, is a bad one. And people have this negative perception and it causes all sorts of problems in my life. And not just to me, but what's even more worrying is that it affects other people. Even the girl I'm dating now, she's been harassed 4 times just in the last month. This never happened before. And to show this, even when I was uploading videos, the presentation style, where my face was semi out there, like you could find it if you went digging. But I was with a girl for 2 years and she never once got harassed and I never had to deal with any issues. And it's only now that I'm uploading videos with my face, I'm running into this issue. And the girl I'm dating now, as I said, she's been harassed 4 times. I'm not using that lightly. And one time, just to tell you what happened, she was in class and for 45 minutes, a fully grown man, lectured her and was making all sorts of negative remarks to me, making negative remarks to her, and just belittling her. And it made her very, very upset. And I just think that this was so sad and pathetic. A fully grown man not having the balls to talk to the person that this is actually related to, but harassing and attacking the girl that he's going out with as if she can't make her own life decisions. I can't think of anything more sad and pathetic. And if the person who did that is watching...
I generally agree. Like, obviously, she knows about his channel, right? So for him to decide that he needs to be this white knight, it's coming from a very weird place. I don't think he's doing it from like, oh, I'm going to help her. He thinks that, but what he's really doing comes from like a very dark, sad, desperate place where he probably doesn't get any women and is projecting his rage. That's what it seems like.
Watching this video, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Although maybe the reason he doesn't get any women is because he watched Wheat Waffles content. So to be fair.
In fact, I'm not going to tell you what I'll do because if I do tell you what I'll do, this channel will be properly nuked. But if you're walking around, I'll be watching with eyes in the back of your head. That's all I'm going to say. Because I don't think there's anything more sad and pathetic than not having the balls to talk about the disagreements or issues you have with the person that the content is related to, but instead harassing his girlfriend, not once, but 2 occasions, when she's not said a word back to you, and she didn't ask for that. That's just disgraceful, and I don't want to have to deal with that. It's not fair on me, and it's not fair on her either. And the thing that annoys me the most about this is that these people, they never say anything to me. One of 2 things happens. Either they gossip behind my back, or they harass the girl that I'm dating. And it's always men. It's never been a girl that's done this. It's always men who do these things, and I'm sick of it. I've not once had a person come up to me saying, hey, I recognize...
All right, I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
And I've even got some of the comments here, and I'll read them to you. You changed my life a year ago, and I'm so grateful for that. Thanks, man.
Meaningless. I mean, look, that's cool that he says that, but in what way, right? What results? In all likelihood, I stopped trying to pursue women. I gave up even more, and I've been alone, and I haven't gotten laid at all, and I have no prospects. Thank you.
I know you'll probably not respond to my message, but I just want to say thank you. You have really helped me turn my life around and significantly improve my looks. Because of you, I decided to make a change and lose weight and start going to the gym.
You know, in some videos, he says going to the gym doesn't really help your looks very much. It doesn't really change your face, which is obviously wrong, obviously untrue. Obviously untrue, so it's kind of funny that this guy's thanking him for that.
I finally feel confident enough to talk to girls and now have the knowledge that looks are extremely important for a relationship. After a little over a year of looks maxing, it's finally starting to pay off. You have changed my life.
Again, he doesn't say anything tangible. I have a video testimonial of a 38-year-old virgin who talks about how he lost his virginity and ended up sleeping with multiple women after working with me. I have testimonials like that, guys losing their virginity, dating models, etc. You made me feel better. That's cool, but where's the actual result?
And I am grateful for your advice. I hope you continue to be successful. I am a guy from West Germany. I was obese during my whole life, but since I saw your face ranking masterpiece video, I finally understand the game with girls in this time. Now I am a solid 6 out of 10 and sport and a great face. You gave me a second life. Thank you so much. I will always remember your lessons in my life. You have rescued so many of us. I wish you all the best. You have the best channel of dating and self-improvement in the whole YouTube's history. Source, I have been a Chad for my whole life, learnt a lot from YouTube, explored most of the channels about dating for the last 4 years. Eventually found this channel as the best one I've ever watched. Kudos to you, brother. Thanks for all your efforts. So, if you are one of these, or you've had similar thoughts,
I mean, if that's the best testimonials you could come up with, that's kind of sad.
Patreon is for you to keep in contact with the new.
All right, cool. So I think the reason he's quitting is kind of sad and he shouldn't be having his girlfriend harassed and stuff like that. However, overall, the fact that he's quitting, I think, is a net positive for the world because much of his advice is flat out wrong and makes people feel hopeless when they're not hopeless. There is that percentage, that smaller percentage of guys who are, like I said, a Nostradamus, and the black pill advice does apply to them. But most guys who watch black pill content, they're just using it as a form of coping as to why they're not getting any dates, why they're not getting any results with women. They're massively overweight or extremely skinny. They never socialize. They don't go out and approach. They probably never approached. And now they believe there's no point in even trying, no point in leveling up, no point in taking control. They believe that everything is outside their control. The external is all that matters. And they can feel proud or even kind of special for knowing this secret information that it's not going to ever work out unless you're a 6 or above. And I have other videos where I've actually deconstructed his arguments and shown exactly why they make no sense. And I give specific examples and proof that what he's saying is just objectively not true. But him quitting YouTube is going to lead to less learned helplessness, less people being depressed, becoming more isolated, becoming more antisocial, because why even try if you believe it's impossible? So ultimately, I think him quitting is a good thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to learn more about working with me either online or in person, click the link below to schedule a free call with me. I have dozens of video testimonials that are a lot better than the ones Wheat Waffles provided, showing people get real results, like actually getting laid, meeting their girlfriend, things of that nature, losing their virginity due to my coaching. And many of those guys are average or even below average looking. So if you want to learn more about that, click the link below.